What's up, humans? Happy Monday, everybody. I hope everybody's doing okay. Today, we're going to do a little compilation because last week, over the past at least 2 or 3 weeks, we've had not only Lou Elizondo's book, but at least another 2 or 3 people with high ranking positions in the government who came out and talked about UAP or UFOs. And if you guys remember, this clip from Matthew Pines.
I believe the Coup de Grâce will be coming sometime this year with someone that everyone would recognize if they watch, if they paid attention to the news, you would know this person.
Wild.
So we'll see. But then that puts us in this. So I think all these things are going to come together, right? It's like.
So right after that happened with Matthew, Harold Malmgren, who used to be a presidential advisor for Kennedy, Johnson, Nixon, and I don't remember who else, but it was 4 presidents. He came out and confirmed that he was told about these programs. That's a pretty high-ranking position. So everybody started wondering if this person was that coup de grace that Matthew Pines was talking about. He said no, but still, it's a very high-ranking position. So, this past weekend, there was a general who came out and talked about this. So, we're talking about General H.R. McMaster, who is a former Army general, used to also be a presidential advisor, and I don't think we've had any generals before coming forward and talking like this. The point of this video, though, is to remind you guys how many people from the government, from important positions who hold the highest possible, at least on paper, security clearance, and are coming out saying all these things. I prepared a compiled video of some of these people because since 2017 there's been Navy airmen, Navy airwomen, Navy captains, Navy commanders, Navy rear admirals, former press secretaries, former Pentagon intelligence officials. Who else? Scientists, very important scientists. We also had, who else? A colonel, and now an army general. And obviously, we've had former President Barack Obama talking about this. I'm not going to play Obama because I think it's CBS. They don't like it when you play their stuff on your YouTube video, so you get demonetized. But Obama was on the James Corden show a few years ago, and he also talked about UFOs and that they don't know what they are and that they exist. So he was acknowledging them. There have been other presidents in the past who have talked about this. That's the highest ranking position. But Army generals are different. Any kind of generals are different. Because these guys are really like in the meat of it. And they know what's going on, generally. When they don't, they get really angry because they believe as a general that they should have access to everything. Other people with high ranking positions who have come forward are Jim Semiban. He has a position similar to a general, same clearances and everything, but in the CIA, in the intelligence community. So what does this mean? I just think about debunkers and how they keep saying that Lou is not right, Lou is lying. They go after David Grusch's person. They attack him. They do puff pieces against him. They've attacked pretty much everyone. They've attacked Dr. Hal Puthoff. They've attacked Dr. Garry Nolan. They've attacked Christopher Mellon. So all I'm saying is these are really high-ranking people in the government, and they're all like trying to bring awareness and attention to this problem because it's a problem. And I don't know what else the mainstream media needs. I don't know what else regular people like you and me need. I can tell you from my own experience that before 2019, because when the New York Times article came out, I was like, okay, so these videos, I was skeptical. So I was like, these videos could have been, I don't know, just made by someone. But then I saw Commander Fravor talking on Rogan about so many different things. The most compelling part of all of that conversation are two different instances. One of them is a larger video, which I'm not going to play right now, which has to do with the Tic Tac encounter. That is the video that convinced me that something was going on. Because you're talking about one of the most decorated pilots in recent history, talking about something he cannot identify, with the reflexes that people like him have, which are insane. And he was even flustered and really taken aback by this experience. He said, literally, verbatim, I felt weirded out. So when I heard him talk about this, I was like, holy damn, this is real. This is actually happening. UFOs are real. That really gave me some sort of a humbling experience. And then afterwards, I just went back into all the material that I could find and just started digging. And that's when I started taking it seriously. But then more people kept coming forward. Like, it was Alex Dietrich and Ryan Graves and Lou Elizondo and Dave Grusch and Rear Admiral Tim Gallaudet and Colonel Karl Nell and Dr. Garry Nolan and Dr. Hal Puthoff, and the list just keeps on piling up. What are we going to need so we can get those hearings and that UAPDA passed? Why are we waiting for more people in these high-ranking positions to come forward and tell us what's going on when there's already so many who did it? I asked publicly, Matthew Pines if General McMaster was that coup de grace. He said no. So I kept talking to people in there on that Twitter thread, and I told him that I would consider a coup de grace if it was a high-ranking member of the government who is constantly inside the White House, constantly talking to the president, and still active. That would be, by definition, a coup de grace or checkmate, whatever you want to call it. And my money is on Jake Sullivan, who is a national security advisor right now for the White House. That would be where my money is, simply because I've heard his name so many times already that I think that would be it. If he comes out and says the same things, I didn't need confirmation. I already had it. There are too many serious people talking about this for it not to be true. But if someone like that comes out, my mother is going to be convinced. My brother is going to be convinced. People who are not on this, usually, those are the ones that are going to be convinced if they see someone like Jake Sullivan talking about this, or John Kirby, or I don't know, Kamala Harris, or I don't know, whoever's in the government right now talking to the president on a daily basis. That would be the coup de grace. We just have to wait and see what's going on. So I'm going to leave you guys with a little compilation of some of the most important names, in my opinion, who have come out and talked about non-human intelligence and crash retrievals and sightings. And I tried to take a little different. Some of them are a little different than others because I don't want to be repetitive, as other creators probably have already covered a lot of this. So I tried to take something a little different. So here it is.
He says he's going on there and they're getting this thing hooked up. And as he's looking down, you know, because they're, I don't know what, 50 feet above the water, he sees kind of this dark mass coming up from the depths. And they start to hoist the the diver up, and they've got the BQM, and as they hoist it up, he says, and he's looking at this thing going, what the hell is that? And then it just goes back down underwater. It just like, once they pull the kid and the BQM out of the water, this object descends back into the depths. So he thinks, well, that was pretty weird. So he goes out, he says, not too long later, a few months later, he's out and he's picking up a torpedo. So he says they hook the diver up on the winch and they're lowering him in, and as he's looking down, he sees this big, massive, he goes, it's not a submarine. He's seen submarines before. Once you see a submarine, you can't confuse it with something else. This big object, kind of circular, he says, is coming up from the depths, and he starts screaming through the intercom system to tell him to pull the diver up, and the diver's like a few feet from the water. So they reverse the winch, and the diver's thinking, what the hell's going on? And he's getting pulled up, and all of a sudden, he said the torpedo just got sucked down underwater, and the object just descended back down into the depths, and they never recovered it.
Let's just say since the 50s or 60s, there's been reports internationally of events occurring, not just from civilians, but from military and commercial pilots as well. I don't think that there's a complete enough picture on that, and there's some natural boundaries about what we want to share with our international partners and how we do that, especially in the modern age here. But I think going forward, the way we really bring this conversation to something of conclusion, if that even can be done, is to really engage with the international community on this topic and to say, hey, we invite you all to, help us figure this out, because I don't think America or one group within the United States really has the authority to speak for the entire world to say it's none of you and it must be this. So I think we really need to bring in the international community.
So look, I think we all want to know, do you think any government has recovered a crashed UAP?
So what I've said for the record, which is unfortunately all I can say, is that it is my belief that the United States is in possession of exotic material, and unfortunately, that's about all I can say at this time.
Let's go back a little bit. And, historically, there's some kind of iconic events that everybody knows about, Roswell and so on, where these craft crashed. What do you think about that? I mean, is that all real or not, or what?
Well, I don't specifically know about Roswell because my involvement has been looking at recent data. There may have been some crashes. We're not going to discuss them, John. You know that. There are claims and people coming forward with pieces of material that they came from crashes.
Right.
So we're at least taking it seriously enough to examine materials like that get provided to us, see if there's anything we can learn from it.
Yeah.
Point you had said that there has been harmful activity or aggressive activity. Has any of the activity been aggressive, been hostile in your reports?
I know of multiple colleagues of mine that got physically injured, and the activity. And I got
by UAPs or by people within the federal government.
Both.
Okay, so there has been activity by alien or non-human technology and or beings that has caused harm to humans.
I can't get into the specifics in an open environment, but at least the activity that I personally witnessed, and I have to be very careful here because they tell you never to acknowledge tradecraft, right? So what I personally witnessed myself and my wife was very disturbing.
I'm curious, do you believe that extraterrestrial intelligence has visited planet Earth?
I think you can go a step further. It hasn't just visited, it's been here a long time, and it's still here. And it has basically, people talk about the wow signal, looking for extraterrestrial intelligence. The wow signal is that people see it on an almost regular basis. That's the communication that's already here.
And that statement seems so incredible that it's tough to believe, right? Like, people hear that, and maybe a lot of people here hear that, and they don't believe it. And so I'm curious, if you had to assign a probability to that statement, that you believe extraterrestrial intelligence has visited this planet, what probability would you assign?
100%. And that's not just my opinion.
We have 3 galaxies of secrets, and I was very deep in two of them, but not in the third. We have the intelligence community, which has its own whole world of secrets. We have the Defense Department, which has hundreds of programs that the intelligence community doesn't know about, and largely vice versa. Then we have the Department of Energy, which has tens of billions of dollars of black programs. And there's some intersect. But since I left the government, I have learned new things and new information that have raised a question as to whether there wasn't something outside of that system that was so special, so super secret, that it was kept out of that whole process. And so that's one of the questions. And that's one of the reasons Congress is taking the action that it is.
Do you believe that a higher form of non-human intelligence has visited this planet?
Right. So non-human intelligence exists. Non-human intelligence has been interacting with humanity. This interaction is not new, and it's been ongoing. And there are unelected people in the government that are aware of that.
And so, Karl, that is quite a bold statement. I'm wondering, and I'm curious, how confident are you that that is true?
There's zero doubt.
Well, I mean, here's my theory, is that the president would have to know, when you got into office, if there was Area 51 and this was going on, they would have to inform the president. Trump was president, he would have blabbed it by now.
Yeah.
But what do you think? What are those things worth looking
I mean, there are things you can't explain. I mean, there are things that cannot be explained.
Wow.
And so I don't know what the explanation is for those unexplainable things, but I will say that there are phenomena that have been witnessed by multiple people that are just inexplicable by any kind of, the science available to us.
So yeah, let me know what you guys think. Who do you think the coup de grace could be? Now I'm even more intrigued, because a former general from the army came out and said it. I mean, that gets really high up. Let's see how it goes. Let's see what happens. So this week, Congress is back on the Capitol Hill. My colleague and friend, Matt Laszlo, is already in there, boots on the ground. He's going to be reporting on everything that happens. If we are going to get hearings, they would need to be scheduled either this or next week. If we don't get them scheduled by then, I don't think we're getting them. I'm going to be completely honest here. I think that this is the right moment for people who live in the U.S. to start calling their representatives and demand for hearings and UAP transparency. This is the exact moment when you guys need to do that. So get on those phones, start calling your representatives, and let's get those hearings and let's get that UAPDA passed. Just remember, I mean, people in Congress are supposed to be representing you. So you're the ones who have the power. The more people that call them, the more they're going to feel compelled to do as they are asked to do by the people. If you keep calling them and telling them that we need this, mark my words, it's going to be in their mind whenever they're walking the halls of the Capitol. So please get in there, call them, call your representatives, tell them we need that. That is one of the best ways we can do this and accomplish this. And I know you guys can do it. I know you guys have it in you. So I am Mexican. I can't call my representatives because my government is pretty corrupt. So please, Americans, do what's best, not just for your country, but for humanity. We need you to call your representatives. Sorry that I'm so repetitive, but it needs to be repeated ad nauseum. So let me know what you think about this compilation, about how high-ranking people are telling the public about UAP. Let me know who's your coup de grace. Let's run a poll. Or let's run like the one with the most likes, your opinion on who could it be, the coup de grace, is going to end up as a pinned comment right below this video. So let me know. If you like the content you see, please like, share, comment, subscribe, all the good stuff. This is going to help the channel keep growing as we edge towards 5K. My next goal is going to be 10K. I hope we get them. is only going to be with your help, and if you share in other platforms too. That really helps. Please tag me if you do. If you want to support the channel in any other way, I'm going to leave a few links in the description so you can give the channel some donations, get yourself something, or get something from the Amazon wish list, which is also for the channel. But please let me know. That's going to be it for my video today. I'll see you guys on tomorrow's video. Bye-bye.